Live for nothing.
Tonight, we spend this Monday in a pack at Daytona International Speedway, as it's the 6th race of GridVision Superspeedways, presented by First Coast Fleet Services, here on GridVision. Good evening, everyone. I'm Justin Prince, alongside me is Brian Britt with Austin Joppy-Shar producing, as we get ready to go racing for 55 laps under the lights here at the World Center of Racing. So far, it's been an interesting series to say the very least, but tonight, we reach the midway point of the campaign, and it's back to Daytona we go for the second of 4 trips to the Superspeedway here, Brian.
Yeah, definitely getting very, I'd say, used to coming to this racetrack, and it's been fun seeing all the different race cars at this place. Of course, the NASCAR trucks, I think, is one of the funnest vehicles we're going to see out here at this 2.5-mile racetrack. Of course, not as much room as Talladega, so we probably won't see 4 wide. Maybe if we do, it could be a little bit of a problem, but I think we're going to have some fun. Very cool track temp, 71 degrees at the moment. 55 laps, pretty short for a super speedway race, so I think these guys are definitely going to be having a pretty good bit of intensity behind these wheels.
Busy week so far when it comes to GridVision action so far. We, of course, talked about this last night, but let's touch upon this again with the upcoming schedule real quick. Of course, this starts off a week which sees racing at Kentucky, WeatherTech Raceway with Laguna Seca, Phoenix, and of course, Kentucky to close out the week. Of note, SSRL Truck Series at Kentucky. Be sure to tune in at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Then it's the Laguna Seca. That will be happening Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. And of course, Phoenix and Kentucky for Global Racing League and RGR respectively on Sunday. We'll see how things play out throughout the week. But as we close through qualifying, under 2 minutes to go in qualifying, let's talk about how things are looking for the title fight. Sean Bounty enters tonight in a fierce title fight, in fact, with Greg Yancek. 1 point the difference. Then it's James South behind them. James South, keep in mind, 17 back still. He needs to pick up some points. Timothy Babcock did the same, though, this past week, gaining 3 spots to get to 4th. He's 30 points back time with Chad McGinley. And Faison Chia, 32 back, rounds out the top 6 entering this evening. Of note, Bobby Manso, after a rough race end, him only having 4 starts, dropped 3 spots in the standings back to 9th entering this week's race here. And keep in mind as well, 2 new entries to shake things up a little bit, Brian, at least making their starts tonight, 4 for the near future.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to that. I mean, curious to see what they're going to be able to do. They showed some pretty quick times in practice. We'll see, of course. But looking at James South, talking about him, he needs points. Well, very curious to see what he's going to do here tonight. I do believe he won last week, and one of our most exciting finishes I've ever seen on GridVision. I mean, that was a 5-wide fight for the lead, Justin. And, of course, I do believe we saw James South come out on top. So can he take that momentum and apply it tonight?
Technically 3 new entries here for tonight's action, by the way. Christopher Burnham to keep an eye on in the 38 truck. You also have Austin Runkle, along with his fellow EPI teammate Jared Murphy, ready to make their debuts here tonight. Those EPI trucks 18 and 33 respectively. But when it comes to this evening, what are your keys to be able to get the job done when it comes to this super speedway in the truck specifically, with how these trucks draft here at the super speedway model?
Well, I think one of the keys is going to be trying to keep that engine cool. I've been hearing in practice, like, a lot of guys talk about how hot the engines are getting when they're in the draft and pushing. These trucks are very good at pushing, so that's going to be one thing they're going to have to really keep in mind, and to bump squarely, not to push the pusher.
Let's take a look at how qualifying worked out, and how about that? First start, first pole. Christopher Burnham sets the pole by a couple 100s over Bobby Mantle. Timothy Babcock starts third alongside Sean Bounty. Randy Post, it's been an up-and-down season for him in the 54. He starts 5th alongside the 7 of Chad McGinley. Faison Chia looks to work from the mid-pack from 7th with Mark McFadden in 8th. Austin Runkle with his teammate Jared Murphy alongside 9th and 10th. The last starters tonight, James Self in 11th. Jonathan Platt, the only driver not to qualify. This evening, he elected to bring his rear-world sponsors and companies he works with onto his 43 truck. So just about set to go for tonight's action. Drivers making their way to the starting grid. Keep in mind the stage is at lap 20 for points. And the fuel run expect to be about 30, maybe 33 laps. So it's not as simple as pit as soon as the stage is done for the fuel strat. In turn, though, what else should we keep in mind when it comes to this? This is the second date with the trucks, keep in mind. The other at Atlanta back all the way in December before we make that stretch to the rings closing part of the season.
Yeah, I think one thing we're just going to keep in mind is that, like I said, don't push the pusher and bump square for sure, and hold on to that fast pair with dear life. You're going to want that towards the end of this race. We've seen that all season long, that fast pair has been a major lifeline in order to keep your race going. I mean, a lot of drivers have won races just because of being able to survive to the end. So I think that's going to be a big factor here. And, Daytona always produces crazy races, and these guys are kind of crazy themselves. So I suspect that it's going to be nuts here in this race.
Let's find out how tonight plays out as they roll off the pit lane. So you have a new team alliance essentially in this field. How is that gonna shake things up here? Because we've seen the importance of team dynamics when it comes to deciding these race wins so far.
Yeah, that's definitely actually a really good question. I mean, we do have a couple EPI drivers that have joined the fray here, and that could definitely change things. Of course, one I do believe starting towards the front of the field, while two are going to be starting towards the back. I mean, if they can all kind of link up, that could be a big difference maker. Super speedway action, it's not a single car type sport. This is a team effort in a lot of ways. And if you can get three cars all lined up, you could be almost unbeatable. And a lot of drivers are going to be trying to break up that party if they're able to get the party started.
Now, there's a small asterisk to the EPI driver part. They're technically a part as well of Backroad Bandit Racing, which is a team with connections to EPI. That is a team, mind you, that has run in several special events in some various series here on GridVision as of late. So it's not their first time technically on the network. And keep in mind, they've also showed good speed when they've linked up in the past few months in these respective races. We'll see how tonight plays out for them tonight. But they do have a lot of drivers lined up behind. Look to shake it up. Who's your winner tonight, in your opinion?
That's a tough one, man. That's out of left field. I'm not sure. I gotta, I feel like somebody that's getting hot here lately. I'm going with Chad McGinley in the 7. He has been on fire here lately in the Global Racing Truck Series, and I think he's going to translate that here to Daytona.
We're happy to have you with us tonight for GridVision Superspeedways, where we spend Mondays in a pack. Green flag is out. Let's go racing from Daytona.
Yeah, really good restart there. Bobby Mantle, though, not with a whole lot of help, but it looks like Chad McGinley's got to the back bumper of Bounty. He's going to come and aid Bobby Mantle up there on that top side. So far, the bottom line starting to edge forward with the help of Timothy Babcock here. So we'll see how this goes down the backstretch. Of course, top line's probably going to get a big run on this backstretch.
Already tandeming up top. Bounty trying to use the arrow push. There it goes. Manto up to the lead. Expect that tandem drafting to be huge tonight. It's very easy to tandem with these trucks.
Yeah, it definitely seems like that is the case. As you can see, the top line really starting to get some big runs up there. We'll see if they're able to keep that going. You can't push the pusher, but it seems like doing a really good job up there. Bottom line, still trying to stay organized, though.
Burnham still waiting the bottom side. No major shuffles yet. Now, keep in mind, we've seen drivers in official competition be able to drive from the back to the front if they go with a 2-truck tandem. Most of the drivers, though, seem to be playing it the safe card in the early going here, at least, even with the points to gain at lap 20. Keep in mind, it's pretty much simple. Don't be in the last 2 spots and you get points.
Yeah, that's for sure with the stage. But, I mean, you want to get as many as you can.
Oh, hold on.
Being in 10th is kind of...
Oh, Bobby Mansell had a lot of troubles there, and now it's blocking from Burnham. Not sure what happened there. There was some communication, it seemed, in 3 and 4. Something was off there in the corner.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We saw that top line just slow down quite a bit, and it looks like I do believe the 38 took advantage of it, jumped up in front, and now Bobby Mantle's pushing that race car. So this is very curious. Bottom line starting to move once again as well. Timothy Babcock at right now is scored into the lead on this backstretch, but I do suspect the top line's going to get another run here.
Okay, so here's the reasoning for some of that hesitation there. Remember, the initial start goes off the green flag, meaning if you accelerate too quickly before the green waves, the sim sometimes black flags you. Apparently, Mantle was trying to communicate that when he realized that in 3 and 4. He did get the black flag cleared, but it did cost him the lead spot on the top line for now.
Wow, I didn't realize he got a black flag there. Good he got it cleared. I didn't even think he did anything wrong on that restart. But lucky for him, you know, the admins were very active there to clear that for him. He's going to be able to still race. And, you know, we'll see. This actually could be good for him to sit behind that 38. Maybe save a little bit of gas.
Yeah, these trucks really burn up gas when you're with the lead truck. We've seen over the past few months. 3 laps the difference it can be. And with this, you need the draft to be able to be quick, obviously. You need to have at least a few trucks in your pack to be in the speed band. You don't want to be that driver who uses up all the gas to lead the early laps.
Here we go. Big move from Timothy Babcock. He moves to the middle groove. Side drafting the 38 quite a bit. He jumps up in front of Bobby Mantle. The top line had disintegrated almost, but then all of a sudden Babcock reinvigorated it. He leapfrogs the 38 of Burnham and now takes the lead, then jumps back up to the top. I don't think Babcock knows where he wants to go.
Babcock gets some help, and it looks like Burnham, not liking what he's seen in the mirror, elects to drop down. Go to the back. That was something he was talking about 2 laps ago on the radio, in fact.
Yeah, I think he's linking up his buddies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what he is. He's linking up with his teammates right now, and like you said, he probably just didn't. He had his finger on the pulse of that front of the field and just didn't like it. He was like, this is a little too rowdy for my liking. Luckily, these trucks don't lose the draft very easily. They should be able to get back up into this pack. But they are in somewhat of danger of losing the draft. But I think they're just on the edge of being okay.
Most of the field, by the way, has moved up top. And some bad news, though, when it comes to those drivers trying to work together for Back Row Bandit Racing. They all just lost the draft.
So I thought they were going to be okay, but I think the 18 started slowing down as well. And I think this is kind of on purpose. I think they're meaning to do this. Not exactly sure why, but I think they'd rather survive. I mean, this could be a good call. If we see a big wreck and, you know, they're separate from this pack, they'll probably be able to survive a lot easier. As we see a lot of, aggressive racing up here. Version on 3 wide. They might be right, Justin.
Oh, and they're right. They call it. No caution yet as 3 drivers spin. Sean Bounty amongst them from Thunderclap. And there's the caution. Yellow flag is out. Timothy Babcock amongst those getting turned. Bounty is still wrecking in the grass in turn 2.
Tell you, Bounty has been having some bad luck this season, and I'm surprised he's the points leader with the luck he's been having. As you see right here, big hit on the outside wall from Babcock, and then he's got some more right side damage on the, of course, as a result of the nose of Mantle. Man, what an accident that was. And I almost feel like those Bandit racing guys almost seemed like they knew exactly what was going to happen.
It was a matter of when, possibly, in the minds. But indeed, at least 3 trucks involved in this one. And then, here's what happened to Bounty. You've seen the first incident. Tries to rejoin the track. Then went around to the grass a second time. Here's the luck one more time.
Yeah, Bounty really didn't get a whole lot of damage. He kind of touched a little bit on the on his back. But I think he's okay. He was able to save it. I think I'd say he probably shifted down and tried to get back on the gas and then went for a run through the grass there. But still didn't hit anything. Car's going to be okay. Probably his ego's not going to be okay, though.
Well, either way, Timothy Babcock, the only driver with the meatball flag for that. A lot of tough dodges there in the midst of that. Let's look on board from James South, in fact, trying to zip through it.
Yeah, a lot of drivers probably A-okay. I'd be worried about Mantle. He did get some front-end damage. So a lot of drivers probably might going to come down pit road to maybe get some of that fixed. I would not use the fast repair. I don't think any of that damage was warrants that. I mean, maybe we could see Babcock use it. I mean, he did get a meatball. But look at that, staying out, I do believe, is Randy Post. And Faison Schick leads them down pit road.
So our first pit stops of the race. Half the field taking stops, half the field not. Keep in mind when it comes to this series, unlimited tire sets for tonight, but only one fast repair if drivers elect to take it. This doesn't get drivers to the end on gas regardless. This gets them to about 10 laps to go. As several teammates look to sort themselves out, Sheath electing to be at the back of those respective teammates, others taking the mandatory damage repair. So under caution here at Daytona International Speedway here on iRacing. Coverage of GridVision Superspeedways. Why don't we take our first step aside? When we come back, the restart. Just past the lap 10 point here in GridVision.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to GridVision for GridVision Superspeedways here on GridVision as Randy Post leads over Mark McFadden, Austin Runkle, and Jared Murphy. Also staying out this caution period, Christopher Burnham. Green flag is out, halfway through the point stage. And the battle is on to see who picks up the most points by lap 20's in.
Yeah, it was a very unconventional start for what you'd see at Daytona. I mean, Post just did not wait. He went right on pretty early, I'd say, and kind of caught a lot of the drivers off guard. Him and Mark McFadden kind of pulling out to a little bit of a gap. But I think everybody's about to draft back up to them as you see Austin Runkle really gaining some momentum on that top 2.
Some of the drivers from the SSRL Truck Series looking to make some cuts. Here comes McKinley and Bobby Mantle. He's on Chief, trying to hook on as well with his teammates. And the choo-choo train up top has momentum. It flies by 10 miles an hour quicker.
Yeah, they are flying. And I'm wondering what Runkle's doing. I mean, it seems like those guys are really, really playing it safe. Those Bandit guys all the way back to the back. They lost the draft again. But the racing is on up here towards the front. Mantle up to the lead. We saw him get some front end damage earlier. Did he take that fast repair? Because if he did, that would explain why he suddenly got his speed here. Or was the damage just not that substantial? Side by side, though, for the lead is James South. Trying to see if he can get some laps led. Since definitely been looking really good here as of late after that big win last week.
Now keep in mind, looks like Mantle did take the top off of the fast repair. Self took the full damage repair. He was in the pit lane for a minute plus. However, with the damage model, he was able to fix that damage in that 1 minute plus because it's Daytona.
Yeah, it used to be with the older damage model, if you had gotten a minute of damage here at Daytona, you wouldn't be able to do what he's doing right now. But luckily, iRacing kind of fixed it, and they're able to kind of bang out those issues and that damage and get him back running just as fast as everybody else. And unfortunately for Mantle, he doesn't have a fast repair left. That's going to be bad for him later. If he gets severe damage, he's not going to be able to continue racing, and we still got a long, long way to go.
Already coming up to about 7 to go in the stage. Self-imposed electing to push on the bottom. And there is an art form when it comes to pushing with the trucks, keep in mind. It's not as simple as, oh, hey, let's push the throttle and slam into each other. That's how you not make friends with the trucks. The big talking point, the pushing of the aero bubble and the soft tap.
Yeah, this is not like the next gen. The next gen, you can really get physical. You can beat on that back bumper, but this truck's not so much like that. You want to be subtle with it. And like you said, some people, I've heard, the argument that it is better just to use the air bubble, not even physically touch that driver ahead of you. But you can see Chad McGinley seems to be of that mind to kind of link up a little bit. He is touching the back end of Mantle here. Big wiggles, though, for Randy Post on the bottom side.
Tower's starting to kick in a little bit because that is also another thing that's popped up. The lighter the truck seems to get, depending on what setup you have, of course. In this case, Superspeedways provided setup. The tougher it can be to hold up the speed. As a matter of fact, depending on how things go, drivers might actually get snapped loose here if they go for quick changes of lines here.
Yeah, we've seen that a lot here lately with many different race cars at these super speedways. You really don't want to make too many sudden movements. And that's one thing that, kind of is rewarded most of the time is making sudden movements. To be able to change between these lines. You see Mark McFadden touching a little bit of that apron. That kind of loses him a little bit of momentum. He's going to hopefully have Timothy Babcock get him back up to the rear end of the 54. But both lines fairly even right now. Top line, of course, has more numbers.
Still keeping about even. But it's almost to where by this Mark II, to be able to make sure you don't lose that truck, some drivers take the time possibly to even blip the throttle on the entry. Post isn't really doing that. Some others have been doing a little peek of that to make sure they get that nose comfortable for the corner. McGinley just did the blip right now, for example.
Yeah, he's probably just trying to be careful with it. And then also, he doesn't have to be full throttle. I mean, this is kind of plate track 101. That the guy that's pushing doesn't necessarily, he's not 100% gas. But, I mean, he definitely seems like he's doing that in order to probably keep the handling on that race car. As we're now 17 laps, actually very close to the end of this stage here. So the points getting ready to be awarded here.
Going up to 3 to go in the stage. Does anyone take a move? Randy Post thought about it. Not there, though. Mark McFadden allows him to regroup. Face on Shia, trying to help out his teammates, still on the top side. No cuts to be able to charge up that middle line yet.
Yeah, one bad thing for those that bottom three, those EPI or Bandit Racing guys, they are about a half a second slower than this front pack, and it's almost 7 seconds back from these guys. So eventually, if it stays green, they might end up possibly going a lap down. I think it's unlikely a little bit here, but if it stays clean up here, those guys are going to be in major trouble. They're definitely not going to be getting any stage points. But one good thing about it is because they're new joiners into the series, they're not really going to be counted for points anyway.
Hey, it's still for fun. Still a chance to be able to race for wins. And still race for the race winnings.
That's true. There is some stuff on there, some prizes on the line. As you see the top line start to surge ahead, Bobby Mansell working very well with Chad McGinley. Now, this is not a surprise to me. Chad McGinley and Bobby Mansell are really just awesome teammates. They have worked together all season long in the Global Racing Truck Series season. And that season, of course, it's like a 36 race season. Those guys have been working together quite a bit and have gotten to be, I think, somewhat of a single mind in a lot of ways. And you can just tell it here at these super speedways as James South kind of surges ahead here. I'm not sure exactly why they keep falling back. I think it's got something to do with maybe a heating issue.
Yeah, temperatures could be a big problem here. Coming up to one lap to go with the stage, though. Randy Post having a slight technical blip. The top line started to lose steam as they look to try and rewind it. Keep in mind, Sean Bounty's technically working with those other three on top. Keep in mind, that was a discussion point as he was on his own entering the nine communications. Timothy Babcock nearly communicates to the grass. Mark McFadden had a check up. Here comes the run. One to go with the stage.
Yeah, here they come. I mean, I think they were really trying to cool the engines down before they started making a move. And I think Mansell and McGinley were like, okay, it's cool enough. Let's go. And here they go. They have engaged on this backstretch. We'll see if they can make a run at this stage win. At the moment, Mansell has surged ahead. Big run up on the top. Can McGinley get clear? They almost got it, but then you see South he re-engages the overdrive there on the bottom, and they are now neck and neck for the lead coming out of turn 4.
Sean Bounty trying to take a 3 wide drag race for the stage win. Bobby Mansell takes it at the stripe. That's 10 more points his way. James South second. McGinley, Post, Shea, McFadden, Bounty, Babcock, Platt, and Christopher Birmingham all inside the top 10 at the end of lap 20. The battle's on, though, to be able to cycle forward for the pit stop window. Pit stops within the next 10 laps expected for much of this field. As a result, we'll see what happens from here because I wouldn't be surprised if we now reach the coming point of the race, Brian.
Yeah, I mean, now that they've gotten past that stage and the stage points have been awarded, I think these guys probably just want to log some laps and get these pit stops out of the way. But I don't know. I mean, these guys, I don't think calm is really in their vocabulary. We'll see if that's the case. But I know Bobby Mansell desperately needed those points. You talked about how he is back in, I think ninth in the points. Well, that's going to help him kind of get back through this field a little bit.
Last time he started was October the 16th. He missed last week, in fact. But in turn, he's only had one finish in the top 5. James South, he's got his points, so he's going to the back.
Yeah, curious decision here for him. I think he just doesn't want to possibly risk damaging that truck anymore. Of course, seemed like it was performing very well, even though he had a little bit of damage. Looks like they definitely got it all wrapped up. But he's going to go fall behind, I do believe, Timothy Babcock. I don't think he's going to lose the draft. I think he's just going to be just fine here. As Post now takes that lead on the bottom line. Oh, some wiggles there on the top. A little bit of an accordion effect there.
Getting a little bit squiggly. McFadden flares up a touch. For the most part, just getting back to the rhythm. But for the most part right now, see how these drivers play things out here. And now, what's on your mind in the midst of all this? If you're a driver in this 2x2 racing, already getting a little bit dicey, even after stage points already being rewarded. Pit stops for half the field coming up. The other half able to stretch with a couple laps to go. What's on the mind?
Well, I mean, what would be on my mind is definitely pit stops and strategy. You know, talking to my teammates, I would definitely be, whether they're hanging out in Discord or something like that, I would be talking to them and saying, hey, when do we go? What's the best thing we could do? What's the strategy when it comes to how many tires? Am I taking 2 tires? Am I taking 4? Are we taking less gas? What's the plan here to limit the amount of time we got to stay on pit road? And also, my thought as well is not to make a mistake on pit road, because it's so easy that if you bobble just a little bit coming to pit road and you take a little bit longer on the entry, you could lose your other teammates and you'll be in no man's land. That is not the place to be. And I think that's a worry that a lot of these drivers are probably having right now.
So the Tapio Rosa eSports drivers line up on the top side. The winner from the Martinsville Speedway, the Gold Racing Truck Series, Bobby Mantle, your current leader. Coming up to 30 laps to go next time by. Take a quick step aside when we come back. Pit stops. You're watching GridVision.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Perfect timing. It's pit stop time here on GridVision. Randy Post and several more coming down. These are all the drivers who elected to stay out last caution period. Right now at halfway this time by Sprints alongside Brian Britt, Austin Jarvis producing, as this is the money stop for at least these drivers. This gets them to the end on gas.
Yeah, definitely interesting time to be pitting here. Oh, a little bit of an issue there. Somebody just had to hit reverse. I think that was Timothy Babcock. So that is going to cost him a little bit of time. Let's see if all these guys come out together. And it looks like one driver, Randy Post, going to take a little bit longer in his stop. He's going to be in that dreaded no man's land, as I had mentioned before.
So Randy Post on its own. Everyone else took pit stops sub 8 seconds. And here's the response. Remember, these are drivers who already pit under the caution. They don't need as much gas here. So all 4 of these drivers working together tonight. Mantle, McGinley, Sheath, and Boundy. They're going to have to sort out, though. They're 3 wide.
Yeah, wow, 3 wide. Oh, I think Faison just made a little bit of a mistake there because they were 3 wide. Missed his box a little bit. He's kind of sideways. And a lot of people don't realize that the way you enter your box at this racetrack, or any racetrack, really kind of can cost you a little bit of time. But it looks like Faison able to get out in just good enough time. I think all these guys should possibly be together. Bounty is a little bit ahead. Hopefully they're all able to get kind of linked back up here.
Mark McFadden also just had to come back down again, so something went on with 48 King. But interestingly enough, 3-second difference. No tires now for your top drivers on the net pylon. Others electing take 2. That included Sheath, McKinley, and Mantle. Bounty did not take tires. That's why it got such a big advantage there.
Yeah, I think we're also about to see Faison Sheik have to come back down pit road. I'm pretty sure he just got an unsafe pit exit. He went above the yellow line before the blue cone, so I would not be surprised to see him have to head back down pit road. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's what happened to Randy Post as well.
Now taking a look back at the leaders. These 3 yet to pit. Burnham, Murphy, Runkle. They've all kept it extremely safe for their season debuts. They have to come in with the next 3 to 5 laps. Right now, with how things are cycling, though, they likely not cycle to the lead group because they were a ways back from them.
Yeah, and they're also, they haven't been as fast as the rest of the group either. So they've definitely been just erring on the side of caution. Can't blame them. If something bad happens, then they're going to be in good shape. But one thing about it, those green flag pit stops split up a lot of drivers. Now, somehow Faison has not had to come down. I could have swore he was going to get a black flag because he definitely came above that double yellow line. That's curious.
Sim didn't award one. But right now, with how things are grouping up, the packs looking to converge. 4 trucks trying to catch up to 3. The numbers add up to get that to close. Here come the pit stops. No. Looked to be almost the case for the back row bandits, but now the other pack has converged together. A group of 3 versus a group of 4 in terms of the alliances tonight. Bounty looking for the net lead.
Yeah, had such a run. He couldn't help but not take it. And they, of course, move up to that middle groove. And they're going to go side by side here for what is going to essentially be the net lead. As they, let's see if they're able to clear and get this pass completed. I think that South, with the side draft, probably is going to gain some speed here to be able to come up here and contend. McGinley's doing a fantastic job pushing. Top 2 are clear down to the bottom. I don't think they're going to take it, though. I don't think they want to leave Bobby Mantle hanging out to dry.
Looking to all stay lined up, and South knows that's the plan. Tries to side draft, doesn't work. And now it looks like they converge. Now to the bottom of the racetrack they go. So
Yeah.
again, Bounty in the net lead if things stay steady. And with Craig Yancek not making the start tonight, great chances here. He builds a very tough to reach point tally if things hold.
That's a good point. Of course, Sean Bounty in this race right now, or coming into this race, was 1 point above, of course, Yanzak. So this could definitely be a big thing for him. Now, keep in mind as well, though, Bobby Mansell did win the stage. Now, that's not going to help him really get to the points lead, considering he is way down. But Bounty, if he had won that stage and did a little bit better, I think he would have fared a little bit better in the points. Here we go. That top 3 has just come down pit road. That's the Bandit Racing crew.
So these are the final pit stops expected under green at least. And right now the leaders already zipping on by the front stretch. They lost a lot of time with how things played out, by how much time they lost trying to build a buffer away from the rest of the pack. It's the calm before the storm period, though. Looks like everyone electing to just wait to the bottom for the time being. This is the big picture type of racing we're now starting to see. Never mind, Self wants to go, or at least Babcock does. I don't think they've decided if they want to just ride or go yet.
Yeah, I don't think they know either. I mean, I think that you could tell that South and Babcock are very antsy right now. They want to do something. There's not much they can do. Oh, we got problems for the 18. Austin Runkle losing it on the exit, I do believe, of pit road.
See what happened, because I think this is even further back than we're looking here, because you know how hard it is to light
Oh my goodness. This could have caused a caution.
Why?
Looks like he was pretty much doing burnouts on the exit of the pit road here.
And then...
Yeah, I'm not sure what he's doing here. I hope this is not on purpose. I think he might just be maybe shifting, downshifting, and just the engine or the tires weren't gripping or something. And
that is the weirdest launch out of a box I think I've ever seen in the truck.
Yeah.
I've heard of it in the next-gen car. That was very common when the next-gen car, mind you, came out. Just seen people loop it. But I've never seen that in my life with the truck. Because the truck is so gripped up, even in first gear, you don't think it will ever happen.
Yeah, I'm surprised as well. I mean, I never would expect that. These trucks don't have a whole lot of power anyway. But I'm telling you, we're incredibly lucky that that didn't happen when these leaders were coming through that area. Because that would have been just a disaster.
Under 20 laps to go, coming up to 19. Timothy Babcock and Jonathan Platt want to go. Problem is, no one else wants to for now. But John Bounty want to be the Pied Piper in the midst of all this. And again, this worked out good for him. He was amongst those who took the no tires. It got him in front of the group, and now he leads the group.
You mentioned it, though, before. You said when the truck gets lighter, that tire wear can be a factor, which, I mean, I think that's definitely interesting. I'm wondering if that's going to be the case here for Bounty. We'll have to wait and see. Of course, also, one thing that we got to keep in mind as well is when you're in the lead, and it's not the last lap or coming out of turn 4, most of the time you are the sitting duck in a lot of ways. So is there anybody that's loyal to Bounty behind him? Are they going to stick with him? I mean, I gotta feel like no.
So working around the circuit. Keep in mind, Sean Bounty, we talked about this a little bit before. When it comes to him, he was a contender for the Thunderclap Championship, had a very rough championship 4 race, as we talked about at Homestead, Miami. But he's also a former senior graphic designer for the city of Los Angeles, actually. Used to work in special effects, did FX with prop sets, prosthetic makeup for various different TV and film shoots. But also picked up a remote control boating racing series championship back in 2019 Las Vegas in 2 different classes. Wow.
That's crazy. I mean, he's done a lot with his life, that's for sure. Oh man, that's definitely crazy. And going back to that Thunderclap race in the Final Four, I mean, it was the only reason he lost that championship was because he made a mistake and got into or it was an issue when he was coming to pit road right in front of Ryan Truex. I mean, he was just as good as Ryan Truex, I'd say. I mean, the guy earned his way. Well, he's one of the best drivers I'd say I've seen in some of the leagues I've called.
Yeah, he's very good on long runs. Keep in mind, there's a reason he was in that conversation for the championship back in September. He's a 2-time champion in iRacing leagues in his career.
But boats too. Apparently boats too. Okay.
Yes, exactly. You never know when it comes to remote control boats. There's actually a few drivers in the pro scene from eNASCAR, like Kevin King, who are big pro RC racers that have their own RC cars.
That's crazy. I mean, those things are pretty nimble. So you have to have, I'd say, some pretty, very, very light fingertips, to be able to control those things. You have to definitely be very, very good with your hands and things like that. So I guess that'll translate to iRacing.
Continue to go at the stripe. No one making the move, with still time to work. Runco, the only driver lap down. Keep in mind, make it 4, I should say, have lost the lead pack. Randy Post, Mark McFadden, Jared Murphy, Christopher Burnham, along with Runkle.
Yeah, it looks like
caution to have a chance.
Yeah, for sure. And it looks like Randy Post, of course, he had made a mistake on pit road, but he has got some help right now with Mark McFadden. They also have that 18, Austin Runkle, who is a lap down, kind of aiding them as well. I mean, they're running really good laps. They're actually they're running some pretty good laps. Not as fast as the leaders, but they are definitely going to need some sort of caution to get them back into this. But because there's only 7 drivers in the front pack, that caution is going to be very, very unlikely unless these guys start to get really, really racy, which is starting to look like they might be thinking about it.
Or at
As you
least
see
some
James
are.
South.
Yeah. He's trying to get the middle to work. Babcock's not able to get up to the bumper yet, though. Now they do, and here comes the move. Coming to 13 to go. Mansell thought about a block, doesn't take it. No move for McGinley. Now side by side for the lead.
Yep, here it is. Big run for South. I thought they weren't going to really be able to generate this. It seemed like 4 versus 3, it just wasn't feasible, but it seems like South has figured out a way with the help, of course, Babcock. They also have Jonathan Platt looking really fast. So 3 versus 4. That top line, maybe the longer way around the track, but a lot of times it is the faster way because you're able to build up more momentum.
And Babcock is trying to push in the corners. That is not what you usually expect to see.
Yeah, we talked about a caution being unlikely. That makes it a lot more likely.
Oh, a little bit off-center, pushing 2. Back versus Platt to check up. Coming up now to 12 to go. I almost wonder if they need to switch the pusher here with how things are going.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks like the top line is starting to kind of fall a little bit here. I think maybe Babcock's getting a little bit hot. You can see, that bump that he was giving that wasn't square might have been as a result of him trying to get some air on the nose. If we look on the hood cam or roof cam off of the first Coast Fleet machine of Babcock. Love this camera angle. Just really great. So they get a big run down the back stretch. You can really just see the amount of speed these guys are carrying with this camera.
Well, there's a chance that South can clear here. Does he take the chance? No. Bounty keeps it alongside. I'm going to go up and stripe this time by. Keep in mind, the numbers are still there on the bottom to make it difficult because she at the staying down low with the rest of the alliance there. They don't have the numbers to equalize the move.
Yeah, and you could tell Babcock is getting hot. He keeps dipping out, and he's trying to get air on the nose right here, like he keeps doing that in the corners to try to cool it down so he can really, they can generate another run. He's running out of steam. He's just not able to maintain the amount of pushing he's doing. And if they had another car, it might be a little bit easier to do that. And they're going to fall right back behind. Oh, we got some issues. Caution is now.
Mark McFadden, Austin Runkle collide. What happened? This is the 3-truck pack that was lined up behind Randy Post.
I do not know. As we take a look back at this here. And looks like the 18 pushed Mark McFadden into Post, I think.
I'm not sure what happened there.
And you see McFadden kind of went under the apron a little bit there, and of course the 18 was following right along with him, just pushing him. And it looks like, I don't know. I mean, we might even need to go back a little bit further because it just seems like McFadden was kind of, I don't know, somewhat discombobulated. I don't know. And then after the fact, the 18 turns the 48. Oh, my goodness. Big hit for Mark McFadden. I am not sure. I mean, I can understand possibly the first crash, but the secondary doesn't really make a whole lot of sense.
No surprise, these two, 48 in the 18, have mandatory damage. Below motor for Mark McFadden especially. And now it gets interesting with under 10 laps to go. The field regrouped. And all of a sudden, at least two of the back row Bandit trucks have a shot here. Not expecting pit stops with it being late in the race here. But Self and company, it looks like at the very least, going to take some tires. And there's a chance to bring the full gas in, because here's the big thing. It was a major discussion point when it came to official racing. It comes into play here. Drivers feel, and this is also proven by some of the data, if you fill up the tank, you can go faster because the rear end is down. You have more downforce in turn because of that weight in the back.
Yeah, that's definitely very interesting.
Less downforce is apparently the key word, but regardless, it goes faster. More zoom.
More zoom. That's all we needed to hear, Justin. That was all. You didn't have to be all scientific about it. More zoom. That's what we needed to know.
Yeah, basically squats it down, the back bumper. But regardless, you still need to make the pass, though. That's the tough part and all that, because you have Self, Platt, Post, Burnham, Murphy, who now have that extra gas, along with Timothy Babcock. And then you have the 4 playing the track position. So that leads obviously to the question, do you prefer the track position to block the lines, or do you prefer taking the risk to get a bit more zoom?
I think track position. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how measurable that speed is. It is. I mean, how great of a change does that make when it comes to how much more zoom do you get?
Well, it's enough that people actually consider it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I
don't know. I mean, I
if
feel
it
like
was
track position is pretty important. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was about to say, if it was the 100th of a mile per hour, not really. If it's 1 mile an hour, you're considering it.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's 1 mile an hour is big. That's definitely pretty big. I don't know. I mean, that's definitely curious. I think track position, though, I feel like I want to be closer to the front. But then again, I mean, this is not going to be so cut and dry. I mean, it never is at these plate tracks. I mean, I don't think we're done with that yellow flag. A lot of times that yellow flag comes out, it's going to come out again.
Now, there's an interesting note in terms of discussion point on both people saying, what's the difference of 1 mile an hour at a super speedway? Well, let me put this in perspective. You go to Michigan, you go 1 mile an hour quicker on the corner exit. That's 1/10 of a second quicker in qualifying. That's how much of a difference it can be. At the very least, the faster you can get it on corner exit, and why that's such an emphasis if you can get that max speed. But now, Bounty, McGinley, Mantle, and Sheath looking to play the track position game. That alliance has the top 4 spots on lock.
Now, will they stay loyal, though, is the key. You know, they're probably going to end up racing each other, and that could open the door for someone else to possibly step through that door. I know Bounty is definitely going to want to take advantage of Janzak not being here tonight. He is kind of I think he's the one that's kind of the sitting duck in a lot of ways. Does Bobby Mantle push him? Does Chad McGinn, like, what is the game plan? Are these guys communicating?
That conversation going to be very busy tonight, after all. Chance for the win on the line with 7 laps to decide it here tonight. McGinley up top, Bounty on the bottom. Pit stops about 5th on back. Green flag is out. 7 to go here on this Monday night from Daytona. Sheath goes to the bottom. McGinley looks to work behind Mantle. They stay lined up. And everyone gets into their alliances outside of Burnham, who looks to break up one.
Yeah, really good job for Bounty, McGinley, and Mansell all kind of to get together. Faison as well has been working well with them. It looks like we do have, like you said, Burnham trying to break some stuff up here. Side drafting, I do believe, Jonathan Platt.
Oh, he might have shuffled Platt out of his preferred line. He did the side draft to pinch him down. Babcock himself work up top. Now in turn, they have Burnham instead of Platt as the third truck in the line.
This is definitely curious to see how these Bandit guys fit into this. As you see, Platt jumps up behind Burnham. Mark McFadden, he's back in this race. Glad to see it. I know you said he had a meatball flag. Glad he's back in it. As we come to 5 laps to go here.
9 in the lead pack outside. Platt. Now he looks to side trap Burnham 3 wide. Looks like Platt sees South and Babcock showing that they want to slide up. Does Burnham get shuffled? They're trying it. Burnham nearly taking a peek to the inside of South as they try and play both the lines. Burnham tries to go bottom. Now he plays the middle. And there goes the help. Babcock goes to the middle instead to block. South to the top. 5 to go. 9 trucks with a chance to win it up in the lead group. Randy Poach tries to make it 10.
Yeah, I think we had a little bit of a miscommunication there between South and Babcock. I mean, I thought Babcock was going to go with South, but it looks like he thought better of it, and it sticks with Burnham. So that's definitely very curious, but it looks like I guess the decision paid off, because now Babcock is right now scored as the leader. Big run for him. If he gets clear of Bounty, does he drop down?
Burnham not backing off in the corner. Babcock trying to hold very stiffly on the wheel to 4 to go. Babcock can clear if he wants it. Does he? Not yet. More comfortable with the tandem with Burnham.
Wow, Burnham is really steady on that back bumper.
Oh, he blocks in front of Bounty. Here comes Burnham for the lead for the first time.
Wow, this guy is definitely aggressive. He is willing to do anything. And where did he come from? He was back. He was not even a factor in this race earlier. Of course, he did qualify on the pole, but it quickly fell back. I mean, to out of contention. And now that caution came out, he is up here and he is battling.
3 laps to go. Babcock has his buddies lined up how they want him again. Now it's South as the pusher for Babcock. 3rd truck in line, Platt. They also have Randy Post joining in on the alliance again. Faison Chiat now looking to switch the lines. He looks to try and gain some track position as they try and block at the back of the top line.
Yeah, right now, bottom line looking incredibly fast. Oh, it looks like some drivers moving. Bounty has decided to move. You see Burnham? Oh, no. And the big one breaks out.
Caution flag is out. Half the field is in it. Chiat's cutting through the grass. Several more scatter. And we're under caution. And you could see that coming eventually. Offset 3 wide. Bounty and Babcock make contact. Green, white checkered already triggered.
Yeah, I think Bounty just, he wanted to get from behind that 38. I mean, he just probably didn't appreciate how the 38 came up there and blocked him, or came down and blocked him. So Bounty thought he was clear. He was clear, but he was a little indecisive on that move. And because of that indecisiveness, unfortunately, he got turned by Babcock.
Enemy mandatory damage. This is why.
Just indecisive. He waited too long to jump up in front of Babcock.
A lot of big hits in that incident, too. Remember, drivers like Babcock already taking some time on the faster pairs earlier.
Mm-hmm.
But it's Burnham and Mark McFadden who are now 1-2. Hold on 1 second. Is that scoring him where I think he's going to score him? Babcock in second. He was in the incident, but according to the sim, take your spot, as he did not slow up.
Yeah, that's
Now
definitely that's weird.
still
He's coming
coming
to pit road. Yeah, I mean he's got damage. I mean, I wouldn't be so. He's going to try to fix that. I mean, I think a lot of drivers got caught in that. Looks like Jared Murphy. Oh, he's going to be going to the front. This is going to be a big shift for these EPI Bandit drivers.
So the back row Bandits now 1-2. Burnham and Murphy, the only drivers not to pit this caution. Endor have to take away for the Lucky Dog. Fast repairs taken from Post, Bounty, several more this caution period as a result here. So now this is where becomes the question. Did the waiting for all that time lead to the payoff advantage? They're 1-2. They lost Runko in the process. He's going to be at the back for the restart. Can they play the lines here? Especially since they have two different alliances lined up behind them. They don't have the same numbers.
Yeah, no, I mean I think their decision was definitely very smart, but it also was weighing on the simple fact that they were going to get saved by that caution, and it's definitely no, I think it worked out for them well. I mean,
who has scored second here? Already hearing the pick is Randy Post over the radio from our producer, Austin Derbyshire. And right now, based at least on the lineup, I'm not sure the reasoning here. Murphy is now been shuffled behind everyone who just pit.
Yeah, so that didn't make a lot of sense either, yeah.
So that leads to the question here, since Post is now second, and now this helps a lot. But the Derbyshire pick, who is your pick for the win?
I don't know. I mean, earlier in this race, I picked McGinley. It looks like he's not looking too hot right now. I'm going to go with Mantle.
Why?
I don't know. He's been fast. I mean, he's been he did really well. He won stage 2 or stage 1, I should say. I think he's got it. I mean, we'll see what happens here.
Oh, want to know my pick for this one? Why don't we go with Sean Bounty? Because guess who's led the most laps? Guess who's starting third? If your answer is Sean Bounty, you get both right.
No, that's definitely a good pick. I mean, good to see him still in this race after that last accident. I think he probably had a fast repair still left over.
So, here's the situation. If we get to the white flag, it's the race to the checkered. Simple. If we get a caution before the white, we'll redo the GWC 2 more times after that, if necessary. Now, if we get a caution before the third attempt takes the white flag, the race ends under caution. Now, it's the matter of seeing what the drivers decide to do. After all, it's been one of the quicker races of the schedule already. Just past the 1 hour mark, in fact. That's how quick tonight flew by with the trucks.
Yeah, it's also been really clean, too. I mean, it hasn't been a whole lot of cautions. So these guys have definitely been putting on a good show for us out here. And it has been one of the shorter races, 55 laps. I mean, remember Talladega was 65. So this is definitely a shorter one here tonight.
Once again, back row Bandit Racing driver Christopher Burnham in control. Randy Post, he sets up outside. That's Bounty alongside Mantle. Mark McFadden alongside Sheath. Murphy was cycled back to 7th for the race control command. Green flag is out. 2 laps to go. Post a slow launch. No one is grouped up, though. Nobody's working together.
Yeah, Burnham not having a whole lot of help. It looks like Bounty's going to be driving up to the back end of the 38. Look, I mean, I think Post has got a little bit of help here from McGill, or I'm sorry, Mantle. I don't know what I said, McGill. But Faison definitely getting a good run as well. So the top line's starting to form, I think, a little bit quicker Three
Jonathan-
wide. Oh,
The middle's
no.
wide open. Jonathan Platt, caution is out behind him. Second GWC, Chad McGinley gets turned. And they're under yellow. Now keep in mind, there was a little air between the 7 and the 21. That's the spark of the yellow. Now this was originally the big one. Bobby McGinley, that's what he had to recover from. He just took the faster pair and half a lap into the run.
Yeah, a little bit of air between, I think, him and South. And he, of course, goes head on into the outside wall, and that's probably going to be race done for Chad McGinley. He's still rolling.
It's not as bad as the first hit, but it is damaged. Yeah. The air monster grabbed him.
Broadcaster's curse. I picked him at the beginning of the race. I guess I shouldn't have.
Caution yet again. And as we pace around here, why don't we take a quick break? When we come back, second green, white checkered. You're watching GridVision for GridVision Superspeedways, presented by First Coast Fleet Services. Welcome back to tonight's coverage of GridVision Superspeedways, where we spend Mondays in a pack. The action continues in what's been a caution-filled past few laps at least. Again, here's the situation. Randy Post scored the race leader at the top of the caution flag. Christopher Burnham second. Bobby Mansell, Sean Bounty, Jonathan Platt, who is coming up the middle line and fast, is in fifth. McFadden in sixth. Of note, all drivers now in the lead lap. Chad McGinley already out of the truck as a result of the contact to the wall. And a few others, such as James Self, electing to come down to get faster pairs done. Faison Sheath also taking the chance to take the fuel opportunity to lower that back end and get less downforce and try and pick up speed in these late stages. They still have to get the white flag for the race to be official. So it's the matter of, how does this now go, Brian?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, could we possibly see another green-white checker? I think it's definitely possible. Of course, our producer is probably sitting there with a smile on his face, considering the guy he picks up front right now. But I'll tell you, Christopher Burnham's definitely been looking quick, and I could definitely tell Jonathan Platt wants to win this race with that somewhat of a bonsai move through the middle he made there before that caution flag. We saw those guys three wide. So I think this is definitely going to get interesting. We saw a little bit of a preview on what this finish could look like.
One go signal now taken. So without the intershaping out, 11 drivers with a chance to win this race here tonight. We see now the picks played out, but what a night it would be if Burnham can win on series debut here this evening after being at risk of losing a lap if it stayed green.
Yep, 100%. I mean, if they hadn't got a caution, those drivers would have not been able to, I do believe, have a chance. As well as Austin Runkle. I mean, Runkle was a lap down. We were looking at what happened there with him spinning out, coming off of pit road, and just having all sorts of bad things happening to him. And somehow he's back on the lead lap. I mean, there's redemption here for a lot of these drivers. and back to having chances to win. I mean, Burnham started on the pole, showed he's got a lot of pace.
So just a few more moments as they work around. Of note, McGinley just re-entered the race, several laps down. And here's the interesting thing. Don't know if he had the meatball flag, the 7 did, but he at least wanted to take something during this pit stop cycle that's put him several laps down. In fact, a lap down.
I mean, he hit the wall really hard. So, I mean, he might not have had a meatball, but he'd probably noticed some type of RPM loss or horsepower that was missing from that race car. Probably wanted to try to get some of that taken care of to see if he could possibly get some duct tape to kind of get that car running good again.
All 12 joined up to the pack, 11 with a shot to win it. Again, second green-white checkered. Post already with Manto over the back bumper for the green. Back underway. Post with a better launch compared to Manto inside. Burnham, no help on the outside. Everybody ditches him.
Yeah, that's definitely one thing. Talk about debut. You do not want to show up and make a bad first impression. You don't want anybody to feel like you're a danger to work with. And hopefully the 38 hasn't made that bad first impression, as the bottom three all work against him. They jump up in front of him.
Here comes Mansell now on the top. Push from Bounty, 3-truck tandem. Post with a slam, 3 wide behind. Babcock tries to run the wall. Burnham gets shuffled out again, now with Sheehan trying to work with him. Again, if we take the white flag, the race is to the checkered. Post tries to move middle. Burnham now works with him. White flag is up.
Whoa.
Final time around as they nearly crash to the stripe. 3 wide down the front stretch.
I mean, Platt just drilled Bounty's rear end just now. Man, this is getting crazy. Next flag will end it, as we're still 3 wide. Post make a big run up top with the help of Burnham.
Can Post get the job done? Mantle with a 3-truck tandem on the inside. Self tries to close the gap. All sorts of side draft attempts from Post. Mantle nearly swarms up. Mantle tries to block the top. Does anyone make a last move?
There goes Babcock.
Here comes Platt inside. Bobby Mantle blocks. Checker flag. Bobby Mantle holds off the crowd. He wins at Daytona.
How about that? 2 wins in a row for Mantle. He won last on Sunday in the Global Racing Truck Series at Martinsville. Then he turns around and wins here in the truck at Daytona. How about it?
And it gets it done with 13 laps led this evening. Able to play the defense.
I'm thinking that was my pick, wasn't it? I think it was. I can't remember.
I don't know. I think it may be, but you've seen a lot happening at turn 4. What did you see as this that got shaky?
Well, I saw Babcock having some big issues, but I saw a lot of pushing the pusher. Look at that. Look how aggressive Platt was. I mean, Platt on the apron trying to make a pass on Bounty. Got Bounty sideways. That was a nuts finish, man. Last week, of course, we had that 5 wide finish. I wouldn't say it necessarily lived up to that, but it definitely was close.
Now, that was a question that was posed involving the 5 wide and drivers in the apron. It's out of turn 4 on the final lap where you can do that. Amongst those able to find that gray area in the rule book before even asked, of course, Jonathan Platt. But it's Bobby Mantle who gets to do some burnouts. His teammates, as well as Randy Post, now joining him on the front stretch in a little bit of the spinnies. Let's take a look at the race results unofficial. Bobby Mantle, Randy Post, Christopher Burnham, the top 3. Sean Bounty, Jonathan Platt, your top 5. Then it's James Self, Mark McFadden, Austin Runkle recovers from a lap down to 8th. Faizachi at the 9th. Timothy Babcock with the incident finishes 10th, 11 seconds back. In 11th spot, Jared Murphy and Chad McGinley. He finishes 1 lap down, back in the 12th position. So all of the teammates join in on the fun, while others watch along at what could have been. Let's take the opportunity in turn to be able to speak with some of our drivers, shall we? As it's Christopher Burnham who picks up the third spot here in this one tonight. Those in just a moment here in this one. Brian, your quick thoughts as we get these drivers towards the media discussions.
Oh, well, I mean, I just thought that was a great finish. Definitely a really good debut for the Bandit Racing guys, for sure. Can't wait to see, get to talk to those guys. I think we have them in the booth right now.
Yes, we do have Christopher Burnham. Christopher, you tried very hard to make a big impression in that late stage. First of all, welcome to Series. Second, talk us through the final laps there.
Yeah, just down a couple friends. You know, I got the guys in the back, but they couldn't quite make their way up there. So the kind of numbers game at the end. I tried. I got too big of a lead on that first green-white checker. On the second one, I was kind of stuck having to push, unfortunately. So it's what it is.
So, in turn, talk us through the team's strategy tonight. Your first start as a group in this series. What was that plan? And why did you guys lose the draft and nearly lose a lap?
Yeah, so we, you know, I got the pole. I rode around for a couple laps. Then I dropped back. The other two guys, you know, we started falling back. There was that first caution that kind of made us agree that it was the right strategy at the time. After that second caution, we just kind of tried to group up, but unfortunately, it took a little bit to group up, and we lost it. We had a little bit of trouble in the pits as well. Luckily, that caution came out, though, to save us. We were about 10 laps from going a lap down, so timing was good.
But in turn, with this series, of course, the different combinations. The next combination, what are your thoughts on Talladega with the Grand National / Xfinity cars?
Yeah, they're a lot of fun. They're probably my second favorite, trucks being my favorite, as far as being able to draft and really push. So I'm looking forward to it.
On that note, any shout-outs you like to give?
Yeah, just Jared and Austin, my two teammates, Backroad Bandit Racing, Mike Burnett, our owner.
Well, congratulations, the top three on series debut and the
Thank
pole.
you. Yeah, thanks.
That's Christopher Burnham picking up the top three finish here tonight. Randy Post now joins Alon for second. He's with Brian.
Randy, definitely a great job to you tonight, man. You were very close. You almost could have possibly got the win yourself. What did you need to do to beat out Bobby Mantle there at the end?
Just needed somebody to push behind the guy that was behind me. We needed a longer line behind me, but really just trying to make it to the finish at that point, and lucky to end up second.
Well, definitely was a really good points day for you, and kind of I'd say a little bit of a up and down day for you as well. I mean, we saw after the green flag pit stops, you made a little bit of a you didn't make a mistake. I think you probably took tires and had a little bit of a long stop compared to everybody else. I think you ended up having to come back down pit road. Is that correct? Did you get a black flag?
No, I never went in under the first caution, so I had way less fuel than the people I pitted with. So to be good, I had to take way more, which put me 4 seconds behind the people I pitted with, and it wasn't.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was a mistake on my part. I should have pitted early, I guess. Did a little bit more strategy, but I really wanted to at least lead a lap. So,
well, you definitely managed to do that, I do believe, and of course, the caution kind of helped you out. I know you were kind of involved in that caution that kind of, in a way, saved you and gave you a chance to finish second place. So definitely, kind of the cards went a little bit your way. Definitely great job on second place, though. Hopefully, you can take this momentum next week into the Xfinity car at I do believe Talladega. How you feeling about that?
Impartial to it. I like the trucks a lot, but they're better than the next gen cars, so I'll take it.
All right. Well, who can we shout out, Randy, after the second place finish?
I want to give a shout out to all my real life sponsors on my real race car: Lidkey Electric, Akrite Auto, Sunset Auto, all them guys. But want to give a huge shout out to Chase's Swinging Hog Incorporated and John Platt for getting me into this league.
All right, Randy. Well, thanks for your time, man. I hope you have a good night, man.
All right, you too.
That's Randy Post in the second spot tonight. Bobby Mantle gets the victory, though, this evening. And Bobby Mantle picks it up by 0.023 seconds. Bobby Mantle now joins us in the broadcast booth. It's his first win after not making last week's race and coming up just short at Talladega. The trucks seem to be something you're comfortable with, Bobby. How would you describe tonight in this win for you?
Oh, the trucks are my bread and butter, man. That's what I race every Sunday with Global. Today was a lot of fun. I didn't think I was going to get the win. I was just kind of in cruise control, laying low for a little while there, and that green, white checker things just went my way.
Talk us through the final moments of that race, because it seemed to be a wild finish again.
Yeah, Sean did an excellent job pushing me up all the way to the front, keeping me just ahead of Randy Post. And I tried to squeeze down the apron a little bit, try and get any extra little room I could. And unfortunately, Sean got turned behind me. But that was close. I'm looking at the replay of us crossing the line here now. That was a ton of fun.
So in turn, this big in terms of some of the points gatherings here tonight. We'll see how things fare out into the official logs later on. But the next combination, what are your thoughts going away from the bread and butter to what is essentially bread with maybe some jam with Talladega and in the Grand National cars?
It'll be interesting. I like Talladega. It's a fun track, but I'm very inexperienced with all the other cars. The trucks are what I mainly focus on, so we'll see how we do. I'll try and get as much practice in as I can, and we'll see how the race goes, see how it unfolds.
Any shout-outs you'd like to give here tonight?
A shout out to you guys for putting this on. Really appreciate it. Shout out to the guys that are showing up, anyone that tunes in to watch this, and hopefully we can maybe get some more newcomers into the series. We had a few just join us. They did an excellent job today. I'm looking forward to the growth here at GridVision.
Congratulations on the victory tonight, Bobby.
Thank you.
It's Bobby Mantle picking up the win tonight. It's his first of the season. I'd like to thank him, Randy Post, Christopher Burnham, for taking the time to speak with us during post-race coverage here on GridVision. Your final thoughts on this one, Brian, as we come to a close here at Daytona. It seemed to be a wild one once again.
Yeah, that's what I've kind of come to expect every week here in the GridVision Superspeedways series. I mean, these guys have always been they've been putting on wild ones every week, and you love to see it. I mean, they definitely continue to impress me and entertain, I'd say, me as well. Hopefully all the fans that are out there are you not entertained? A little bit of a reference there. But great job to Bobby Mantle. I'm so glad my pick won. But I can't wait to see this league continue to grow. I kind of echo that from Bobby Mantle.
So in turn, as we come to a close tonight, let's talk about what's coming up on the schedule for GridVision. GridVision has plenty of races coming up in the next few days. Amongst those in the next few days, after some spooky Halloween festivities, we head to Kentucky this Thursday for the SSRL Truck Series. Coverage starts 9 p.m. Eastern Time from Kentucky. Then on Friday is the Cornasaka, which will take place whether Jack Raceway but Gunaseka. Be sure to tune in at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Friday. Then it's a double dose of racing Sunday. Global Racing League at Phoenix at 12:30. Then at 9 p.m. a chase for the Kiowa Glass Cup from Kentucky. Be sure to tune in throughout the week here on GridVision. And on that note, it's time to say goodbye for tonight. For my broadcast partner in the booth, Brian Britt, for our producer, Austin Derbyshire, I'd like to thank you for watching tonight's action at GridVision Superspeedways, where we spent Monday in a pack. Congratulations to Bobby Mantle, your winner from Daytona. Have a good night from the World Center of Racing.